Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about Emunah Bitachon. Everybody always wants to talk about it, and everybody always could use improvement, obviously myself included. I just had two mices this week, and I'm just going to say over what happened. There was two stories of two older bachrim who were going out with girls for a while, and they couldn't decide to pull the trigger. And I chas v'shalom don't mean anybody here or anything like that. I'm just talking about random people who came over to me for whatever they came over. And then it turns out that one guy, he went out with the girl like 9 times, and then the girl was chalishing to get married. And then he couldn't, he came to me, what should you do? I said, get married, have a little bitachon. And what a bitachon, hang on, do it. So then he went to another Rav who told him that if he's not sure, he shouldn't do it. That was one. And then there was another guy, he didn't get engaged. And there was another one who they were already engaged, and they came to me not feeling this and that, whatever it was that they were feeling, they wasn't feeling enough. So they came to me, asked me what they should do. I said, what's the shadow? If you got engaged already, the Simon Shemayim, stay engaged and work it out. No, everybody knows that the person you get married to is not the person you dated. Right? So I'll have a little Emunah Bitachon, hang on, and it's good. So they went to one Rav. The Rav said they should hang in there. They didn't like that. So they went to a third Rav, and the Rav said, maybe we should break it off. So they broke it off. I'm saying it, al-Tzavard, Sefelt, Emunah Bitachon. In every step of the way, no matter what we're doing, a person has to have Emunah Bitachon. Whether it's in Parnasa, where that everybody comes running, because they have a shidduch already. But if they don't have the shidduch, then they all come running for that too. But it's an Indian Emunah Bitachon.
I'm asking that it's Emunah Bitachon, but I think the lack of a lot of other stuff also.
Okay, but that's the Shayrish HaKol. Okay, so I'm going to get to that soon, not about that specific Zaya, but I'm going to tell you a story. That was not a story, that was just an akdama to a story. And so now I'm going to tell you a story of Emunah Bitachon. So Geven Amal Aparetz, right? Every story starts in the good old village with a Aparetz, right? And the Aparetz owed to his higher up, wherever it was, he owed him a lot of money. And he didn't have any way to pay him. So he decided, what does every guy do? You go to the Yidden in the town and you say, tell them, you got to pay or else. So he went to the person who was the Rosh HaKol and he told him, listen, I need 50,000 ruble and you have to come up with it for me. And if you don't come up with it, you're going to be in trouble. But I'm taking it b'tayras a loan. I'm not taking it b'tayras a tax. And so in that town, the Rav of the town was the Balatanya. So he went to the Balatanya and he asked him, what should he do? You see, I say from all over, I'm not particular. Balatanya told him, listen, this is the Gzeira. I'm telling you to go ahead and do it, and you don't have to worry about anything that's going to happen. Zayin gut. So he said, based on what the Gadol was telling him, so it was Balatanya, so he went to the people in the city, and he borrowed money. He said, Smoich alai, I'm going to pay it back. He was the Rosh HaKol, everybody knew him. He said, I'll pay it back. So he got all the money, and he gave it to the parents of the town, and the parents said, don't worry, I'll pay you back in a month or two. Nicer, came time to pay it back. The parents said, I don't have the money now, I'll get it tomorrow. And he kept on pushing him off. For 2 years, the guy kept on nudging because the people he borrowed the money from were nudging him. Lamaisa, Baritz decided he had enough with the Jew. He's nudging him every day for his money. So he sent him off to Siberia. He said, I don't need you anymore. So he was thinking, Baltanya told me that I should give him the money, and now this is what happens. Kitzah Maisa, he was in Siberia for a couple of years. There was one day that the king of that area, his wife was swimming in the ocean and she almost drowned and she got saved. So after she got saved, she was so besimcha, she wanted to show her gratitude, so she decided that all the people who are prisoners in Siberia, they should get released. So everybody, they came to the big dinner of the releasing party, and there were a few thousand prisoners. They were all getting released, and they all came to say thank you to the queen for getting them released. The most she sees that there's one Yid over there who was amongst the people, and he didn't look like a common criminal. So she said, well, like, what are you here for? Why did you go to jail? So he told her that I lent money to the pirates of my town, and he refused to pay me back, and then when I came to collect the money, he threw me in jail. So she was very upset when she heard it. She was outraged. She said, how could it be such a thing? He's wrong and you're right. She says, I'm going to fix it. And she she got put together the 50,000 ruble, gave it to the Yid. She sent him to go home to pay back to other people. And then she had the pirates come down and sent him back up to Siberia. You see, because of this Yid's Emunah Chachamim and the Baal Tanya, that he was able to go ahead and do it b'leiv shalem, and so he was able to have a Yeshua Gedalah, and he was able to save the people in his town. Just using that as a mashal, that to have Emunah Bitachon. We know that in Shmos, I'm calling them all one Parsha Arichta, Shmos, Ve'era, Bai, B'Shalach. It's all the Maisa of Yitzias Mitzrayim from the beginning to the end. You know that in the beginning it says there about Yocheved and Miriam that they were Shifra and Pua, right? And their job was to save the babies, right? Or the job was really to kill the babies, but their job, they saved the babies. Again, why did they do it? Emunah Bitachon b'Hashem. That wouldn't be Ratzon Hashem to kill the babies, right? So everything that they did, so Rebbeinu Shalom paid them back. But L'maisa they're called Shifra and Pua, not called Yocheved and Miriam. Why? So Rashi says because they were taking care of the babies, they did a good job, so they gave him that title. You see, though, by Moshe Rabbeinu, Rebbeinu Shalom called Moshe, he said Moshe, right? He called him the same name twice. Zak Chida, the same name twice, because the Moshe Lamaila was shakel to the Moshe Lamata. Same madrega, which you Bichlal don't have. That a Yid, a Bahai Alma should be on the same madrega as his Nefesh in the Shami law. You don't have that. You have that only by Tzaddik and Gemurim, like Moshe Rabbeinu. You also see by Avram, he said Avram, right? And what did he answer? He answered him by Hineni. What's Hineni? Hineni is how much? Hineni is 115. What do you see in the Hineni? That you have the Shem Yabaik, right? Yabaik is a gematria of Yud, Beis, Kuf, 112, which together is a Hashlama, a Zivug of all the three Shemas, which is Havaya, Eke, Adnos, right? Havaya Eka Adnos is 112. It's also Elikim Havaya, but not going there right now, right? Plus the three Shemas itself is 115. So you see, Vayayim Hineni is saying, Moshe Rabbeinu was saying that I was able to be Zoichet to have a Zivug with all the three Shemas together. That's Vayayim Hineni. So you see the godless of Moshe Rabbeinu when Moshe Rabbeinu called him Moshe, and he answered Vayayim Hineni. See Nachazach that when Moshe Rabbeinu was speaking to Moshe B'Toich HaSneh, so what did he say? He said, Eke Asher Eke. What was the word of the Eke Asher Eke? That Moshe was now, Moshe wanted him to be the spokesperson for Klal Yisrael. And he was saying, I can't, I'm a Kvat Peh, I'm not Royal Lekaf, and so forth. So Rebbeinu Shalom told him, Eke Asher Eke. What's the Eke Asher Eke? 2 times the Eke is how much? It's 42. What is 42 Meramis? So when you go from one Madrega, a low Madrega, to the higher Madrega, Rabbeinu was going to go from, so to speak, the Pshutei Am, and he was going to go become the spokesman, the leader of Klal Yisrael. It's a higher Madrega. Therefore he said, Eke Asher Eke. You have to get rid of the klipa that's there. There's always a Makatrig that doesn't want it. So that's where the Asher comes in. How does that work? Because the Shin of the Asher is Elikim b'miluai, and the Resh of the Asher is Elikim b'ribua, right? And the Rosh Hashanah was mamtik that by saying Asher. What's the Aleph? A Aleph is made up of a Yud, a Vav, and a Yud. So you have the Asher, the Aleph of the Asher being mamtik, the Shin and the Resh. That's why the Ek Asher Ek is able to be Maila to Shem Mem Beis. Nachdem was steht weiter, it says Ek Asher Shlachani Alechem, right? The third Eke. So that already Moshe Rabbeinu, as you know, was Keneged, the Mem Tez, Shari Kedusha. He almost reached Nun Shari Bina, but he only reached Mem Tez. So he was Keneged the Bina, which is Keneged Shem Sak. So if you take the 42 with Nacha Ekez, it already comes to 63, which is Shem Sak. So that's why he said it, Afazah Eifen. Now, if you go in the beginning of Pashas Ve'era, there's a shtickle complicated Arizal, which I wanted to say over. I'll say over, the whole thing is a bissel shver, so I'm going to say over a piece of it. The Pashas starts off, V'dav Hashem Elokim al Moshe v'yema el v'ni Hashem v'eira el Avram ve'el Yitzchak ve'el Yaakov b'kel Shakai. Which Shem did Rebbeinu Shalom reveal himself to the Avis? Kel Shakai. But Shmi Hashem, Shem Havaya, lo nedati lahem. Right? But to Moshe Rabbeinu, he was going to be Megal Shem Havaya. But he's saying here now the chilik between the Avis and Moshe Rabbeinu. I understand. Shmi Hashem lo nedati lahem. He's talking about the Avis. Right? He's saying that's... I understand, but I'm just saying. But now he's saying that Moshe, he's telling you, Moshe Rabbeinu, and I am a dragon and the Avis. The Avis is only Kel Shakai, and you are. So the question is now, how do you see in the Avis? The Arizal is going to explain how in the Avis you see that shame of Kel Shakai. So he says the way you could see it is in the Rashi Tevis. So there's two pchenes. One is Rashi Tevis, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Yisrael. Right? So you have Avram is Aleph. Yitzchak is Yud, Yaakov is Yud, Yisrael is Yud, 3 Yuds is 30, plus the Aleph of Avram is 31, which is Shem Kel. Right? Now, if you take the Safei Teves, so you have Avram, which is Mem, Yitzchak, which is Kuf, Yaakov, which is Beis, which is Mem, Kuf Mem Beis, 142, or those Isis Mem Kuf Beis, and in Atbash, it's Shem Shakai. So you see that Merumas in the names of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov is Shem Kel Shakai. And then there's another way he says you could do it, is if you take the Aleph of Avraham and the Lamed of Yisrael, and then you add in the Hey that Rebbeinu Shalom added to Avraham. Right? First he was Avram, then he became Avraham. And then a Shin by Yitzchak, because sometimes Yitzchak is mentioned Yitzchak with his sin. Right? And then Yaakov is sometimes written Malay, and sometimes written Chaser, so the Vav of Yaakov, you take them all together, is Kaminyan Kel Shakai. I'm telling you in Arizal, welcome to look it up, it's in Sefer Halikutim. Now if you're going to go Moshe Rabbeinu, you could see that, that he was Zoichet Hashem HaMefarish. So he says, if you take Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, you take off the Rashi Tevis of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and you take off also the Safei Tevis, you're going to be left with only the Pnimius. And the Pnimius of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov is as follows. You take the word Avram, you take the first ice of the Aleph, and you take the last ice, which is the Mem, and you're left with Beis, Reish, Hey. And then with Yitzchak, you take the Tzaddik and the Ches, because you take off the Yud and the Kof, right? And then with Yaakov again, you take off the Yud and the Ayin and the Beis. You left, you take off the Yud and the Beis. You left with the Ayin and the Kof. And Yisrael, you left with the Shin Reish Aleph. Altogether, the Oila 976, which is the same gematria as Shem HaMefarish. Those words, Shem HaMefarish. The state. And that Moshe Rabbeinu got b'chol pchinosav. That's what he says. Remuzah b'shem havaya. So now, how do you see that Moshe Rabbeinu had that also? You see, it was in the avos, in the emtzayos of the avos, but not in the Safei Tevis or the Rashi Tevis. But by Moshe Rabbeinu, you see, it was like this. Moshe Rabbeinu knew havaya. Right? In Havaya, it comes out, you have Absag Ma Ben, which is Gematria Reish Lamed Beis, and then you take all the Absag Ma Bens, and you do them Ba'achorayim, which would come out that in the Yud, it's 184. I did the Cheshbon, so it worked out everything. And if you do it in the Shem, in the Hey, right? Mili Hey in Biribua is 166. If you do the Vav, is 130. If you do the Hey Achroina, it comes out to 144. So all these three, that's the Achirayim. The Achirayim adds up to 624. Now if you take together the Reish Lamed Beis, which is the Panim, and the Tov Dalid Reish Chaf, which is the Achar, comes out to 856. Now, if you take Shem Havaya with the Dalid Oisias, right, and plus, so you have Dalid Oisias, plus the 10 Oisias Hamiloi, plus a Kailel, it's 15. Now, you take the 15 times 8. Why 8? Because you have 4 Shemus Havaya Panim and 4 Shemus Havaya Achar. 8 times 15 is 120, and then that Tuf Nun Vav will be the same gematria as the Tuf Kuf Ayin Vav, which is Shem HaMefarish. It's a cheshbon, complicated cheshbon. This is the Arizal's cheshbon, not mine. I would never make it.